Okay, here we go, people. Hey everyone, out here in Bidwell Park, City of Chico. All right, hopefully we're back. Yeah, people are concerned about burning during summer and while there's other wildfires, and understandably so, but got great conditions today. City of Chico's been doing this several years in a row now, and I know what they're doing. And sometimes you got to burn at certain times of year to get certain effects, right? So today, Saturday effect is to burn this hot enough to kill star thistle. Also want to burn it in a way that minimizes the smoke. And when you burn things that are hot and dry, it creates less smoke. So even though we're burning like 150 acres, a lot of people in town won't even know that we burned today. So this is kind of a choreographed event. We've got City of Chico's in charge. The Big Chico Creek Ecological Reserve is providing leadership along with folks from the Plumas County Trex, which is a prescribed fire training exchange. And each of these players kind of has a chunk. We're burning 3 different units today. And each group of people is kind of coordinating tactics on each one. So this one right here, we've got folks from the Ecological Reserve are helping kind of coordinate the lighting, the firing. We got folks City of Chico. The trail that runs above, kind of from the Easter Cross up to Horseshoe Lake. And now that that upper end's secure, along this whole upper part, what we're calling flanking strips. And that it kind of lets the fire residence time. In this light fuel, the fire doesn't stick around very long at all, right? This just burned. This is already cooling down. So what we're interested in here, you can hear this crackle, is this is the seed head of star thistle. I'm squeezing it right now and it's like it's burning my thumb. So that's what we want. We want to get the seed on the star thistle hot enough to steam and kill it, because each one of these heads has got star thistle seed in it. So by adjusting how we light this, we can adjust how much heat we're generating. So my job here today is fire effects monitor. So I'm kind of the fire scientist for the burn. And my job, and I've got a trainee, Lindsay, who's doing similar stuff, but my job is just to inform the burn boss on whether or not we're meeting our objectives. So in this case, we're putting a lot of heat into the star thistle. And so our objective here is to just get rid of this star thistle. It's not a native plant. It's kind of invasive. It chokes out the native plants. The woody dead star thistle can stick around as kind of what we call thatch for a long time, and it creates higher fuel loading, and which can create more difficult fires. You can't really like walk through it. It prickles you. It's not as there's just a lot of downsides to having the park taken over by star thistle. So you can try to mow it, or you can try to hand pull it. You can spray it with herbicides, but when it comes down to trying to manage, hundreds of acres of wildland, prescribed fire is one of the more effective. So we're going to go out here and kind of take a look at how this guy's firing is going. You can come through.
Yeah, this is going to be a hot one.
Yeah. And what's your name?
Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey.
Figured out.
Fire on the ground.
We've got this kind of crazy away from the fire. I'm kind of imagining that we're probably cooking a lot of grasshoppers too. Got some holding crew over here. Let's see what they're up to. How you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good. You want to be on the lookout live stream?
Oh yeah.
All right. What's your name?
My name is Greg.
Hey, Greg. Seek.
Seek. Nice to meet you.
You too. What are you doing? What's your job today?
Right now I'm holding. Was originally on East Holding, but pivoted here just in case the wind shifts. We don't want it to jump this trail.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you burned much up here?
Not a whole lot. This is my third time on this specific burn, so
All right.
3 years in a row.
And do you work at Chico State?
I work for the Big Chico Creek Ecological Reserve, so yeah, we work for Chico State.
And what's your job there?
I'm a land steward, so we steward the land.
All right. That's what we're doing today, stewarding?
Yeah, that's what we're stewarding. We're stewarding.
So what are we trying to accomplish out here?
We want to kill off all of this yellow star thistle all around us. So we're trying to cook it right now.
Nice. It looks like it's working.
Yeah, I think it is.
So how did you come to find, how did you end up here? What's the story? What brought you to this point where you're standing out here and holding this spatula, leaning on this rubber spatula?
Totally. So I went to Chico State and I majored in recreation, hospitality, and parks management. And one of the courses I took was lectured by the Gary Day. And Gary Day would show us all sorts of pictures from the Ecological Reserve. And so my senior year, I had to get an internship so that way I could graduate. And Gary hit me up and offered me a job. And so I've just been climbing the ladder, getting more and more experience, and here I am.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you hope to do with Prescribed Fire in your recreation and hospitality management career?
You know, I'm still just dipping my toes in the water. I don't necessarily have a career path I'm pursuing yet. Just trying to gain experience and become a more competent wildland firefighter.
What do you think about the idea of burn tourism, taking people out to burns and giving them a kind of guided interpretive experience?
I think it's a great idea. I think a lot of the public, especially in California, is still pretty apprehensive and afraid of fire, and rightfully so. And so I think exposure therapy and guided tours and stuff like that could be really beneficial for the community.
Right on. Yeah, I've also thought it'd be cool to I saw a lot of comments on Facebook yesterday about I can't believe they're burning. There's wildfires. I mean, we can look from here right now and see a pretty good sized wildfire 50 miles away.
Yeah.
But doesn't make it any less safe for us to do this under our prescription, right?
That's right.
And we're doing this to prevent that.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. You got to fight fire with fire, huh?
Right on, Greg. Who's your partner here?
This is David Terry.
Hey, David Terry, you want to be on the TV?
Sure, why not?
Hey, man. You guys got the coolest glasses between the two of you.
These are just cheap Walmart. He has the actual pit vipers. Mine are $30 from Walmart.
They're put those two guys together.
So my name's David Terry. I work at the Big Chico Creek Ecological Reserve as well. I'm also a land steward. However, I am also the wildlife biologist / herpetologist at the reserve now. I've been doing this prescribed fire for about 3 years. I've done a couple wildfire seasons, and yeah.
Right on. So what's I hear a lot of people that are concerned about the wildlife and the critters and that we're destroying their homes and stuff. So what do you have to say about I see like there's these gopher burrows out here, and there's probably snakes and like.
Yeah, so awesome. That's actually a really great question. So there's actually a lot of research specifically looking at the survival of mammals during the Cretaceous period, whenever the asteroid impacted and the whole planet heated up and the dinosaurs went extinct, essentially. And so one of the cool things I found about fire, or an animal only needed to be about 2 to 3 inches underground to actually be insulated from the heat of the actual fire. So like all these gopher holes that we're seeing, which is probably going to have snakes, lizards all inside of it right now, they're fine. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have some risk, collateral risk, where some animals will get injured. But I'm sure, as Zeke has mentioned, wildfire has been missing from this landscape for so long that many of these species that people are concerned about, their populations are actually too large. Gophers are one of them. Fire doesn't seem to have a direct effect on a lot of frog species, but there has been some research on toads specifically. So right now, this time of year, the toads have metamorphosized into the juveniles, and they are most likely, I guarantee, undersuffering right now. And they are completely safe from the fire.
Cool.
And birds have wings and they can fly away.
Right. And how about all these grasshoppers?
I am not an entomologist by any means.
I'm hoping. I think most of Butte County right now would be glad if we cooked about.
And
a million
honestly,
of them.
they seem to be overpopulated. Again, I'm not an entomologist on that aspect. However,
look down here right now. You see, like, there's just this cloud of them. I mean, it's crazy. There's this crazy cloud of them fleeing the fire. I suppose that if that was your objective, that you could probably like ring fire this whole thing and cook like 1 billion of them. Right on, David Terry. Well, it's always awesome to see you out here, and glad you're hanging on and still burning all this with us.
Oh, you guys are stuck with me for a few more years.
So what's your how do you want to integrate all this into your life as a wildlife professional, herpetologist?
Yeah, so actually I was a biology grad student. I am now a wildlands master's grad student. So I made the switch as of yesterday.
Right on.
And so essentially I am a very hands-on person. And I feel that specifically I study frogs. Frogs are my passion. I love frogs. And essentially I have evidence right now that suggests that fire is super beneficial to a lot of frog species. And I think by not burning, we're actually causing more harm in the long run. By
letting like the fuels build up and overgrow their habitat.
So like right now we're burning, and we burned 2 years in a row. This is my second year on this burn. And essentially, even compared to last year, there's not as much like long-term fuels on the ground. So like there's not a lot of like your 10-hour fuels. It's like none. Because it's burned off from previous burns that we've done out here. And so all we have is mostly this flashy fuel stuff where it burns through really fast. And we're eradicating, again, we're targeting that European yellow star thistle, which is a non-native species like Greg was talking about. That's our objective for this burn.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna gotta go take some more pictures of the big flames, man. Keep it hopping around here.
Awesome.
See you, man.
Cool.
Thanks.
You guys, you have fun.
All right. David Terry, Big Chico Creek Ecological Reserve land steward and land manager. Right, pretty rad. Chico State, they've developed this wildland studies, wildland management masters over the last, I don't know, decade or so, and they're just cranking out all these folks that want to manage land and integrate lots of different tools in that toolbox. And it's really nice to see folks like David and Claire Monahan and my trainee today, Lindsay. Shout out to all the BSER folks. There's way too many awesome burners to name them all here, but if you're interested in learning more about that, check out some of the videos we've got. Just search for interviews on our channel. We've interviewed a bunch of these folks and kind of just following their careers. But they're building up these skills, becoming professional burners, going into the world to bring us all more good fire. They're out here teaching. I think a lot of people, they think of who's the experts in putting fire on the ground, and they think of the fire department and the folks that drive on the big red trucks. And it's a lot of burning skill in the fire community. But the BSER folks, a lot of the folks that I'm working with, they're burning 60 days a year. Some of these young people, you know, they've got more experience burning in the last 3 years than a lot of people in suppression will get in their entire career. So nice to see a cooperative burn out here where we can all come together and share the spots. And so really appreciate effort that cities put into building these relationships and being open to, you know, what they say in prescribed fire is that, you know, your qualifications matter less than experience. And there's folks out here that are burning that, you know, in fire world really have zero paper credentials, but they might have, you know, decades of practical experience with fire. So I feel like City of Chico's willing to acknowledge that. Manager. And then that grass is burning. So just little things like that, just like the way grass falls as it burns, that changes your ecological effect, right? As it's backing here, some of the star thistle's falling over, laying down in the flames. So backing fire is good. It might be that this is the thing we would want for the whole burn, but I had a boss and he said, around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, funny things start to happen. And meaning that the winds come up, it gets hot, a lot of escapes happen in the afternoon. So we're kind of trying to balance, the burn boss today is trying to balance these competing objectives, right? We want to burn the star thistle, we want to get it hot enough, but it's coming up on 11 and we got a lot of ground to cover, so we can't just let the fire back all day. So what this guy over here is doing with this flanking fire, it's a way of kind of splitting the difference. Some of his stuff that he's lighting is getting head fire, some of it's flanking, some of it's backing. So you get this wide range of effects, and they say pyrodiversity begets biodiversity. So yeah, we don't want it all to burn the same. Right in front of me is sucking back into the fire. So in a lot of ways, as we're lighting these things, we can kind of sculpt the fire to move the way we want it by, you know, where we decide to put heat on the ground. All right, I'm gonna put the camera down for a second.